Hello, Christie.
Hi, Jerry. How are you? And how are you living your best life today?
We are living our best life today because we have a special guest today here. We are having an amazing recipe and we have an amazing topic, which I can't get into. I'd like to welcome everybody. Loisel, how are you?
I'm great. Having a
Okay.
good day.
All right. This is very special because today we are cooking something that involves baking and alcohol and chicken and love. I mean, what are we doing here today, Christy?
Actually, I'm in the kitchen hot seat today, so I am cooking my family's favorite chicken pot pie recipe. So it's actually pretty easy. It's probably something that you want to keep for a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. So it's one of those cheat day meals, right? Because
Okay.
normally I would use just a pie crust, any kind of simple pie crust, like a Pillsbury dough that's already rolled out, or maybe what is it, Pepperidge Farm puff pastry crust, and put that on top. And I'll tell you a little bit more of how I do that later, but I'm just going to teach you how to make the basics. So I went to Trader
Okay.
Joe's this week or yesterday and got some organic half and half. I use that. And I'm going to use one Vidalia onion and one large carrot that I've chopped up here. And I always love to get the organic peas from Trader Joe's. And my favorite, which is, hopefully I won't spill it everywhere, the roasted corn. I love the roasted corn because it gives it just a little, they
Whoa,
look
interesting.
chocolate and it gives it just a little bit more flavor, I think. And then basically we'll cook everything down. I've got the chicken. I'm cutting the chicken up right now. I usually use chicken thighs just because here's one. I like the chicken thighs because they're the dark meat and they make the chicken pot pie a little bit more tender. And the pieces are a little bit more tender in the mix. And you can do things like if you like using bouillon, you can use better than bouillon. The chicken, I use the organic one. I'm just going to use a basic Himalayan sea salt today, garlic powder, pepper, and probably I was in France this summer, so probably some herbe de Provence in it as well. So just keep it very, very simple today. And
All
what
right,
I'm
nice and
doing,
aromatic.
yeah, to make some air, give it the aromatics. And also another thing that's wonderful is adding, instead of baking it with the pie crust, which sometimes that can be a little bit tricky, because it can make the pie crust a little gooey on the bottom if you do it on the bottom and the top. And I never like a gooey crust. So what I usually do with the kids, they always like to have it crunchy. So we'll actually bake the pie crust separately and then break it up and add it to the bowls. It's almost like a soup with the crust on
Whoa,
top.
okay. It's like a
And
cracker soup
or
situation.
exactly right. Or so not necessarily a chicken pot pie, but it could be like a chicken pot pie soup with the pie crust on top or the puff pastry on top. So I basically have the chicken all cut up now. I have the pots going using a made in Dutch oven. I don't know if you can see that. It has sort of a non-stick bottom, but it's one that doesn't stick as easily. So I have some olive oil that I've put in. I always like to use extra virgin olive oil. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add the some onions in here and start cooking those down. And I'm going to go ahead and add the carrots, put that down for a little bit, and then we'll add the chicken in a minute.
Oh, so there's carrots in there too. That's interesting. Have you ever made a chicken pot pie, Loisel? Have you ever had the?
Yes.
You have? Oh, so I've never done this before. How is your recipe? Is it simple? Is it similar to what Chrissy's doing?
Yeah, I like took the kind of easy route where the pie crust was already made and like I just used kind of like, like a cream of mushroom or a creamy soup like in a can and just like poured it in. So yeah, I've never done it where it was like completely kind of from scratch, but it must smell amazing there, Christina.
It does.
When
It's
you put
about
in the onions, I'm like, I can imagine.
right. Exactly. I mean, onions, and also you can even add garlic if you want, but I always love I always get just a garlic powder because I feel like it's a little bit stronger. Sometimes if you use a fresh garlic in this, it might change the flavor a little bit. But I always
Yeah.
find the dried powdered garlic to be a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is probably just add a little bit of that right now. Some garlic powder, probably I would say about a half a teaspoon of the garlic powder. And then I always just start lightly with the salts, and you can use like a Celtic sea salt. You can use iodized regular, Morton table salt, but I always like to have some extra minerals, so and
Yeah.
vitamins. So I use the
The
Himalayan
pink.
pink sea salt,
Hmm.
Christie's
That's what's
Trader
up.
That's
That's
what
the
Joe's.
I
highest
use.
level
That's
of
what I
salt.
use too. Yeah.
I'm
You also
talking
use Himalayan?
about enough.
Apparently Celtic salt is the highest.
Re
It has the
Yes.
So interesting.
most
I would
minerals.
pronounce it
Yeah,
Celtic,
this
but I guess
one,
it's
the Celtic
Celtic.
sea salt.
It's a Celtic.
Yeah, it's
Celtic.
really,
Is it
really
Celtic?
good. So,
Okay.
and it seems to be a little bit saltier too. So,
So what's the story?
that's
Because Himalayan sea salt comes from the mountains, right? So it's Celtic from like the sea
right,
or something? Or
right. And you can
From
see they're pink. I don't know if you can see that.
Scotland.
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then this one says it's from, I'm guessing Celtic, so probably Ireland,
Oh,
but this one
Ireland, yeah.
is the brand, yeah. And it
Huh.
just says Selena Naturally. So let's see if it says where it's from. I'm not sure, but yeah, these are really great for minerals and things like that you might be
I didn't
missing
know
in
that.
your
Okay, there you
daily
go.
diet,
Celtic.
right? So I put probably about, a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to do about the same with the pepper. And
Hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and cover it and let it cook down a little bit. I'll stir it and then cover it. Let me grab my lid.
I think the measurement of the quality of your life is very much correlated to the size of your pepper mill. You know, if you got a nice, you know
Better
what I mean?
buy a
Like if you got
huge
nice,
one.
because it's fresh herbs and it's a big,
There's a
you got a
funny
nice,
correlation.
you have a
What
nice
was
little
it?
big, yeah.
You want me to repeat it?
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
didn't hear you.
no. I said, do you have a big pepper mill at all, Loisel, or do you have like do you like use like
Oh,
It's like medium.
medium? Yeah.
He said the quality of our life is correlated to the size of our pepper mill. And I
Yeah,
was
like if
like,
you got
that
a
was
really
a
big
funny
one and it's like
correlation.
it's a
I
very,
better acquire a
well,
large one.
well, I was telling Jerry about this a while ago in one of our first episodes. This one and the salt mill, they're made by Peugeot, and Peugeot, the car maker, right? And so
No.
it's really, really nice. And if you can see the little lines on here, they're
Hmm.
really fine lines, like 1, 2, 3,
right.
4. Okay. And you adjust, how tight it is at the top. And this is actually where you pour the peppercorns
Peppercorns.
in here. Yeah, at the top
It's like the
here.
gears in a car
Yeah,
in a
it's like
way.
here's the, and I'm telling
Hmm.
you, it's really nice because I'm not going to do it. I'll just turn. It's just a nice grinder, and I use this for everything. And they might be a little bit more expensive to buy them at the beginning, but I swear you use these all the time, so it makes it definitely worthwhile having. So
Definitely.
basically, I've got everything cooking down. I'm going to go ahead and add. I want to show you. Let me take a picture here for our. Let me see here for our episode. Um, it always steams up my camera. Let me put a video on there so we can kind of see. So it's cooking down now. And I bought this wonderful little gadget when we were in France. So, Loisel, we went to the south of France. So we were in the northwestern portion of Nice, in that area.
Right.
So in the villages close to Grasse, and then through Valbonne. And then we went all the way across to Aix-en-Provence and down to Cassis. So, but when we were in, where were we? We were in Valbonne, which was on the eastern side of the southern part of France. And we bought this beautiful olive wood grinder. So it's kind of like, see, it has the same sort of gears like a pepper mill, but it has herbe de Provence. So it grinds the actual herbs down so they're
That's
a little bit
cool.
more fine, and you get a little bit more of the herbe de Provence flavor, which is amazing. And for those of you who aren't familiar, may not be familiar with herbe de Provence, marjoram, the sort of tarragon, those sorts of herbs. And they're wonderful, and you can use them on chicken, roasted chicken, any barbecues, any soups, stews. It's wonderful. It's pretty universal. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to the mix here today, and I'm doing that as a little bit. That would be like my second secret ingredient, because normally I would use maybe a fresh lemon thyme, but I'm out of that in my garden this week. So I'm going to go ahead and use the herbe de Provence, but you can use dill, whatever fresh herb. Any fresh herbs are amazing. So whatever you really, really, truly love, you can add to the chicken pot pie. But I would either do the herbe de Provence, or I would do fresh lemon thyme, or even just regular thyme if you don't have anything that's fresh. So I'm just letting this cook down, and I'm going to go ahead and cover it. And then we'll go ahead and maybe get started on talking about our topics today. So Jerry,
Oh,
what's
the
the topic?
top. Today's
Yeah.
topic is maybe it's not a Toronto term.
No, I have no idea, but I could guess.
Okay, let's hear some guesses.
Yeah, so basically like weeding, like I'm imagining like weeding your garden and then like throwing some, I don't know, like fertilizer. So like
Right.
getting rid of like, like what's not useful, but like, maximizing growth,
Right.
basically.
Excellent.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
100%. Christy, I'd love to hear your
So
your
you want to
your
know
uh
what? Okay.
yes.
Well, years ago, when I became a yoga teacher, I used to teach yoga after I was a dancer, and so I did a 200-hour teaching certificate, and part of that training was learning about weeding and feeding. And basically, there are things in your life that if things aren't working out, you might have friendships that might be a little bit more negative. You might be in a job situation that's just not very positive. You're not, really utilizing your true talents or gifts or skills. So sometimes you want to take an assessment, right, of your life, and you might want to go ahead and basically try to weed those things out of your life that aren't as beneficial for you. So maybe you find some more positive friendships or friend groups, or even a relationship that may not be working for you. Maybe you find a different partner, a better partner that brings out the best in you, right? Or even in a job situation, if you're not happy, then, try to work and take the steps and take those baby action steps that Jerry and I always talk about in our meetings to get you to that job that you really truly love and want to go to every single day. And, one of the things that I told Jerry about, and I was sharing this with a friend of mine, that I've been teaching at a university and now recruiting for a university here in Virginia for many years, and the recruiting aspect started back in 2019. But I think one of the reasons why I've stayed with this degree program, and the university, is that the people I work with are amazing. They just are very, very kind. They're a lot of fun. They care about people, and I feel like those are integral things in our lives. If you want positivity in your life to truly, truly put yourself in or create a situation for yourself, right? To where you are going to be around people that are supportive, that are positive, and you're able to use your gifts, the things that you love to do, and help others. And, that is a wonderful way of weeding and feeding. So it took me many years to kind of find my true, work home. But this one is it. And I just love it. And I really feel like it's just like your garden. Your weeds can choke out things in the garden, right? And some weeds can be beneficial, but others can really choke things out. So you want to make space. And it's kind of like cleaning, when you clean your closet or you clean your drawers out, you basically are making space for new things. And it also helps you to feel better, right? And helps you feel
Yeah,
organized.
accomplishes two things at the same time, right?
Yeah. So Jerry, what about you? I'm going to go ahead and stir over here and
Stir it
add
up.
the
Stir it
okay.
up because it's like I love that when you think about weed and feed, you think about the lawn, right? It's like there's weeds that you got to take out, but you're also it's not just a matter of cleansing, it's you're purifying in the same way. And a lot of times in life, like you run into the same patterns, you run into the same shadows where it's kind of like, oh, like this is the same thing that's happening, but in a different relationship. Maybe this is something
Hmm.
that's happening in my career, maybe in my
Hmm.
personal stuff, and it's just like, there's you you have to kind of get rid of the wrong things so you have more room for the right things.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I'd love to hear your take, Ozal.
Well, it's funny because we actually I had a meeting previously, like this morning. And Christy, you don't know this, maybe Jerry or like Sav does, but we are trying to start up a business. And we had a meeting where are we going to put our resources, and that's time, energy, effort, so that we can, maximize our product. And we had this talk about like resources are limited, and
Right.
we have to, make sure that we're putting those into the right places. Um, and it's interesting because I had a different point of view as another person. And it's
Right.
like, well, actually, we need to work out through like we have to, and when you're working with other people, it's like aligning on that is so challenging,
Right.
right? And
Yes.
I realized in myself, oh, I took a step back and like realized like this part of my personality is actually not letting me like advance. It's like a very ego thing, right? Like I want to hold on to this thing because, like
It's part of who you are. It's your
it's
identity
part
in a
of who
way.
I am, but then like
Yeah.
trying to change that. And I guess that's the weeding part of it.
Yeah.
Like in a garden, it's easy because you're the judge of what is valuable and what is not. But when it's part of your core, like it's been part of your core identity, it's so difficult to let go of certain parts.
Oh, yeah. Ain't that the
You know what I
truth?
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like when you say weed and feed, right? Like um, it's interesting because like the older you get, the more you realize like life is about like you want to discover who you are. You want to discover, and that discovery of yourself and your own uniqueness is like, holy crap, there's nobody as unique as me. Like there's nothing to judge in a sense of like you just gotta be yourself. But then sometimes you're following the same patterns and you're like, sure, that's who I've been for like 5, 10 years, but that's not
Exactly.
who I
Your whole
am. It's not
life.
who I want to be, and that's not my
Yeah.
values. And I know that.
Yeah.
But then, oh, but it's so comforting to follow the patterns,
Yes,
to go back,
exactly. It's
it's
so comforting to
so
not have to
comforting.
go out in the garden and get on your knees and do
Yeah.
the work. You just can, oh, you know what? Being wild and letting it grow wild is like, that's also, a good thing.
Yeah. You can make a
But
justification for that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But do you
Absolutely.
want to, right? Or do you want a little bit more?
Yeah.
Do you want to consciously grow?
And that's very interesting. Like consciously grow. Like, are you going to take consciously the things you don't want?
Intentionally and
And
consciously. Yeah.
yeah, and then I mean that's the whole game, right? Intention and being conscious of that intention, right? It's like being aware,
Yeah.
being present. Like, here's what I want. All right, well, like
Yeah.
now we're here. How are we gonna?
Yeah.
And it's just like, but it sounds a lot. It sounds so much simpler than actually when it comes to the execution of it, right? But
Yeah.
that's where we're here,
Right.
like we're cooking every week with new episodes and new little things and holding each other accountable. We have a little mastermind situation happening after this where we're gonna like give each other a task to complete by next week. But it's like helping taking
Exciting.
baby
I like
steps,
that.
yeah, little steps towards our next big goal. So how's everything going on your end,
Can I
Christy?
just say that
Yeah.
I love this idea? Like Jerry
Yes.
told me about it last week. He came over
Right.
to at our party and I was like, this is brilliant. Like you've taken two things and mixed it and it works. So I've been
Yeah.
watching like some of the posts and I was like, wow, I love this.
It's really fun, isn't it? Because it's very organic. I mean, Jerry and
Yes.
I worked together when we met through Melanie Moore's tapping prosperity class, and
Yes,
it's
I
for
heard
women,
that.
right?
Hmm.
And so she assigned three of us in a group, and we ended up working with another wonderful lady named Jan. So the three of
I'll
us
see you in
worked
about
together
15 minutes,
for
by
a
the way.
year, and we basically were helping each other in an accountability group to, check off the box every single week. Did you get it done? If you didn't, it's
Awesome.
okay. We moved it
Amazing.
to the next Trello board the next week, and we encouraged each other,
Yeah.
right? And there were
Hmm.
things that Jerry got accomplished over the year with his business. There were things that I got accomplished with my business and my music
Amazing.
work. And same with Jan. And we really supported and loved and helped each other through all this. But in our year of working together, Jerry and I found a great love for food. And so we decided,
Woo!
why don't we share and talk about, sorry about that. That was for our accountability meeting. I always have my alarms on all the time. But
Amazing.
basically,
Inspiring.
just shared our love for food, but in doing so, sharing the idea of an accountability group. So we decided to do
Hmm.
the kitchen hot seats every week. And boy, I mean, I was scrambling this morning because I had meetings all morning and deadlines and things that had to go out. So I barely got here, but I knew I was accountable to the two of you today, right? And
Yes.
so all I could think of was, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm here and I'm making it. And it's looking great. Let me see if I can. I'll let the two of you talk. I'm going to go grab the flour and some mitts because it's a little bit hot. So I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah, no, 100%. Lizelle, I'm so happy you're here to see this magic in its organic nature, you know?
I'm so happy you thought of me because I honestly think I manifested this because
Ooh,
I got paired up with an accountability buddy for job searching
that's so funny.
and we did not mesh well at
Yeah.
all. And I was like, how do I find a kind of a community where I'm, accountable for doing like advancing in kind of my like search for my next purpose, And then when you invited me, I was like, hell yeah, like this sounds amazing, you know?
Yeah.
But also, I love how it's like food for tummy and food for thought. Like,
Mm.
it's so nourishing in both senses, and I like, yeah, I just find it like
I'm
brilliant
gonna
to
write that
have,
down.
or for this idea.
Food for
I
tummy and
love
food
that.
for thought. I like that, you know. Well,
I love
okay,
that,
so
Loisel. Look,
we're gonna tell.
my pie crust is about to roll off the pan. So this is what I
Oh
Oh my
my
did, and
God.
this is the
goodness.
gluten-free pie crust, right? And this one actually was
Okay.
store-bought. So Loisel, I'm a busy mom, and my kids are actually gone, so it's an empty nest. But I'm still a busy wife, a busy person. So
Always
with
busy
you,
woman.
yeah, as much as we love Ina Garden and the Barefoot Contessa, we love you, Ina. But
Yeah.
sometimes we have to go to Pillsbury or the gluten-free section of the freezer section, or a puff pastry like Pepperidge Farm. So this is all done now, and basically, I'm going to add a little bit of flour. So let me grab that here, and basically, I usually add about and I like to use my hands. I know this is awful. I'm going to put it in a bowl here and just kind of sprinkle in how much I need. And I usually put about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, but I think it depends on sort of the humidity in your space. So what I'm going to do, and I do this, it's kind of a secret. Instead of, you can sift it with your fingers, right? And then just sprinkle it around the top. I just take 2 little scoops like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to do 3. That's my gut feeling today. So I would say about a good 2 tablespoons that I'm sprinkling in
Okay.
there. And I've got it on sort of a medium heat right now because you have to be careful of the everything sort of sticking to the bottom because I've got I would say half of the container of the half and half, so probably about a quart here. No, this is
Wow.
one
Okay.
quart,
That much, eh?
half a quart. So
Mm.
whatever half a quart is, and then what I do is I just let it cook down. So let me see if I can bring the computer over to you guys. Hold on.
Okay.
We'll
We're getting
see.
some live
Let me
action
get.
shots right here.
Hold on. Let me see if I can make it a little bit more steady. There. Can you see that?
Wow.
I'm
So
so
that's
hungry.
yeah, that's what's cooking right now. So, but Loisel, you made a point earlier about meeting with people and starting a new business. And, that's another thing that's really important that a lot of people, when you have the idea, it's so exciting, right?
Hmm.
So exciting to start something new. And I'm really proud of
Hmm.
you, for
Thank you.
venturing into this. And I can't wait to hear a little bit more about the business. Outside of this meeting, I'd love to hear more, but it really truly is important to align yourself, right, with people that are very much like you. I mean, everybody's different. So everybody has something different to bring to the table, right? But at the same time, personality wise, and my dog just came in. So she's pushing me, Mommy, I want. But yeah, just making sure that you're choosing people. And this is for everybody, whether it's in your, choosing the right job, choosing the right people to be around
Hmm.
in your business. Your
Yeah,
business is something that you're going to be working with these people or
it's your child.
person
Yeah.
for your child forever and ever and ever, right? Because you want it to succeed. And so you really truly want to work with somebody that you align with well and personalities align and you have sort of the same work ethic and
Hmm.
maybe same sort of I don't know, ambition, right? And I find that with Jerry,
Goals.
we have so much fun. We have the same sort of excitement for our topics. We have the same sort of excitement. Okay, here's Nico. He's trying to
There we
say
go.
hello.
And no, that was my cue.
Yeah.
And there's also a real positive energy and a positive vibe. Like we're trying to pull this off. Like I remember when I first met Christie, right? Like it was literally it's so early in the morning, like 5 or 6 in the morning, and I would never wake up this early to do a friggin' vision board exercise. And then but I did. And I met Christy, and then she's like, I'm trying to put on an album. I'm like, what? I'm like, and I'm trying to do these events, and it's like, but we did it, like we pulled it off, and you're just gonna take some type of steps
Yeah.
with like in terms of if you just have a common goal. Like one of the things about meeting every week is that there's this third mind that started happening, right? Christy, you introduced me to this concept. Well, so I know you're familiar with like Napoleon Hill and masterminds, things of that nature a little bit, right? But like the third,
No.
okay, Christy, okay,
She's not.
let's
So,
do.
okay, Jerry, you have to tell her about this because you always have the best definition or
Okay,
explanation,
no, you
description of a
okay,
mastermind.
and here's what's great
I'm
about it is that I never.
reseasoning of it.
There you go. Okay. So as she's seasoning, I never can remember the definition of the mastermind, but I just know what it is at its essence. And here's what it is. Napoleon Hill was the first guy that quoted it, right? And he was the dude that went to a bunch of people that are very wealthy and affluent like 100 years ago, and he found out the secret sauce. And he wrote this book called Think and Grow Rich. And in that book, they talk about masterminds, right? And masterminds is the concept of one or two or more people meeting on a consistent basis in the spirit of harmony to achieve some type of common goal, right? So you have two
Okay.
people that are maybe trying to achieve something in business, maybe you're trying to solve a particular problem, and you meet every week, and in the spirit of harmony, in the spirit of trying to get things accomplished and holding each other accountable, you get a little bit closer to your goal. And the
Mm-hmm.
best, the people that are the cream of the crop in terms of achieving some incredible successes and making a huge impact and playing a bigger game, like their inner circle, the ones where they get to meet once a week, once a month, once every 2 months with a group of like-minded people that are at a certain level that are all trying to hit a certain goal. You do that with a couple more people, like you're gonna 10x that effort, and that's what's so exciting. I never thought I could put on like a seafood and white wine meetup and like close a bunch of clients. But then I'm like, okay, well, what's one thing I'm gonna accomplish by next week? And then you give yourself some tasks. You have some people that also are trying to accomplish it, and you get inspired. You
Mm-hmm.
move faster, and you get a little
Mm-hmm.
closer to living your dream.
Yeah, that sounds good. I want that.
Well, this
Um,
is really, really, really looking good and tasting good. I'm gonna add a little,
ooh.
Good.
maybe add a little bit of the Celtic sea salt to give it a little bit more salt. And basically, what I'll do, since we're probably over time now because we have some people waiting for us to get into hop
Right.
into the accountability group. But Loiselle, I'm so happy that we got to meet you today. Just to kind of share with everybody, here's our. I don't know if you can kind of see the pot pie is getting a little bit thicker. And let me see if I can bring it over
Oh
to you
yeah.
guys. I can try.
Okay.
There it is.
Ooh, that looks so
It's
good and
so pretty.
creamy.
I'm spilling it. Oh
Oops.
my goodness. That's okay. Yeah, I just spilled it on part of the crust, but that's right, because I'm going
There
to
you
eat
go,
it.
Nico. Yeah,
Right?
right. Yeah.
You can still hear me here.
Got his wish.
Hold on. Nico, say hi. Where are you? There he is.
Hello.
Ooh,
Yeah, Nico. He's
beautiful.
waiting for the food.
Yes.
He's our BLT puppy. He and we also
No.
have a baby. BLT
So
living.
cute.
So, Loiselle, it's so nice to meet you. And Jerry, it's so
Yeah,
great to meet you.
likewise.
And I will take pictures of the final product of the chicken pot pie and give Nico some as well.
Okay. I will see you guys on the other side on the
Yep.
mastermind. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place.
Okay, live your best
Bye.
life this weekend. We'll see you
Will
next week.
do.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.